Okay, so I've made a lot of videos about Linux. And if you look on the channel, there's like Linux out the box, Linux for creators, and all this sort of business. I mean, my interest in Linux is all around the fact that it's free. It's got an incredible community behind it. And you can play with it, you can do things with it. If you sit down as a creative person and you look at the Mac, and you can't change anything. They've just released Glass, which I don't know, I don't like it, but you're limited to what they give you. And the same with Microsoft, you're sort of stuck in this box. And also the way that you interface, the way that you control things. I mean, there's loads of apps to enable you to do hotkeys and all sorts of things like that, but you're stuck with the same methodology that's been around for years with the mouse and all this business. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of things like floating windows. I hate it. It's like when it comes to editing, there's certain editors like I've worked with Premiere Pro where they float the stuff all over. I can't do that. I just want it organized in a grid and I can just do it. So programs like DaVinci Resolve work really well for me because it's just snapped in there. There's no floating bits. It's right there and I can work on it. So, okay, I'll get to the point now and we'll go through this. I was watching a video the other day and this thing came up and it was like, and I'm trawling through all the Linux distributions and I've installed, but if you think about them, they're all the same in many ways. They're all the sort of the menu bars here, the things over there, click, 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 run your program. And then I came across a thing called Omachy. Now, there's a guy called David Heinemeier Hansson, and he's a developer who created a thing called Ruby on Rails, which I have no idea what it is, and I don't need to. But that's not the point. He's obviously an incredibly clever chap, and his tribe of people who make these things. And he did something which I really admire. He sat down and went, okay, what I'm using at the moment I don't like. I'll build my own. So he's built a Linux distribution called Omachy. And it's based on Arch and Hyperland, which is a Windows thingy. And I'm just going to say it straight out. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm just taken by it completely. It's just a totally new way of working. It's a totally new way of thinking. And when you're from like an editing sort of post-production background, you learn the mouse first of all, yeah, but then you learn your hotkeys because your hotkeys can speed you up, and they really are quick for creative process. If you know how to resolve, how to make a node, Option S, all this sort of business, and those keys you just fly around, and everything's quicker. Everything's quicker when you know how to use your hotkeys. Omachy is designed really primarily for keyboards. It's just brilliant, and everything's done off a super key. And I mean, if you're a Mac user, you don't really know what a super key is too much, but that's like the Windows key on a Windows keyboard, and I think it's like Command key or Option key on a Mac. I'm not sure. I'm looking down at a Mac Pro here, and I'm trying to work it out. But anyway, they built the whole operating system around this premise, where using your fingers to do stuff on a keyboard is quicker, and it is. It's miles quicker to do it that way. You just need to learn it. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to install Omachy and put it through. And then the next videos I'm going to make afterwards, as you can imagine, if you watch my channel, I've already written a script that will allow you to install DaVinci Resolve on it. So we'll do that. But I think they're selling themselves short when they say it's for developers. I think it's for everybody. I think it's for creators. And if you want to try to jump, okay, give it a jump. But I tell you what, it's just completely thrown me. And I've been fiddling with computers for 30 years. It's just somebody's come up with something new. It's very exciting. It is literally the tipping point, really. If you want to come away from Windows or Mac, I think I'm going to sort of I've only just found it. I think my Bazzite installation may be looking a bit decidedly dodgy now because of it. But yeah, so for the guys out there who created Omachy, David, amazing job. It's fantastic. And I know he's put a lot of himself into this, and it's interesting. He's somebody obviously that needs to work at speed, likes to look at nice things, and likes to create world. And I tell you what, there's a thing in a video about him, and he says that there must be other people out there that want the same as me. I 100% agree. I think there's a lot of us that want to change, that like to control our environments better that we work in, and Omachy could be the thing. So anyway, enough with my massive preamble there. We'll go through the installation, and I'll show a few bits, and then I'll do a couple more videos about creator tools for it, because I think it could be a great thing for creators. And we'll go for there. So, okay, let's dive in. Okay, so here we are. I'm just done a boot up. Now, one thing about Omachy, I couldn't get it to work on Ventoy, which is the thing I use for multi-boot with Linux. You have to do the flash it straight onto a standard USB and do it that way. And so it's like standalone. So up it comes, and you select your language. I'm UK English, obviously. Now, as you go through it, there's my username. I put in something really simple. And a password. I've used an uncrackable password. And then it asks you a few things, because it's focused for sort of developers. It's asking about Git and stuff. So you can just basically tab through this, and then it sets the account up. Now, what this does do, you can't multi-boot it. You have to do it to OneDrive, because it will wipe it. But what it does do is encrypts. So literally, it does drive encryption the moment it goes on. So super safe. So the next thing then is going to like bang through all this, all the load up stuff. Now, as I said, the sort of preamble at the beginning of this, it sort of threw me totally this. It really has. It's really exciting, because I've seen a billion, I'm sure we all have, we've seen a billion operating systems. And, you know, you're basically guided and overlaid by what the creators of the operating systems really want. They standardize. Like Mac is totally standardized, and you can it's only a certain way. And then you move to Windows. There are similarities between the two. You know, many things are in the same places and stuff like that. You can't control things. Now, what David and his guys have given you is a foundation, a building block, and give you a great idea and like a head start into what you can do with this. And I've never used a Windows-based manager like this before, where it locks everything off, and you know, you've got Windows hiding between Windows and all these kind of things. We'll look at it in a minute, but it's sort of it's a very smart and intelligent way to work. The whole thing looks gorgeous as well, and it's built on Arch. It's super quick, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's just going to bang through the loading stuff up now. But I mean, and there's a sense of humour injected into this, which is quite fun, which is something that's missing from things like macOS and Windows. They're quite soulless. So he's put a bit of himself into this. It's great. Obviously, as well, if you're staring at a screen for multiple hours of a day, you want it to look great. Now, I'm not saying that Mac doesn't look great. It's great. It looks lovely, but it's like, I can change the backdrop. I can do this. I can do that. But it's a very specific way of working. And maybe it doesn't suit you. Maybe it doesn't suit you. And I think that's what hit him. And the beauty of it, because it's Linux, it goes on to much cheaper hardware. I mean, you obviously pay the Apple tax for buying an Apple. I mean, I've got one right here. There's a M3 Max laptop, which is about, when I bought it was like £3,000 or £4,000. I don't need to spend that much, really, do I? And I'm just doing that so I can use their operating system. If you think about it, that hardware, I know they've got their M chips, but the hardware's out there for you to do something as equivalent as a Mac laptop. But you can buy, you know, PC bits. The thing I'm looking at now, I think the next laptop I ever buy will be a framework laptop. That's a very interesting company and really fits in. I think when I saw a demo of this, it's being done on a framework desktop. And framework, the mentality that you can change things and modify things and customize it. I think the laptops, you can upgrade them, which is nuts, which is not something most sane laptop manufacturers would ever want you to do. Because obviously they want you to buy a new one. You know, they don't want to sell you a part for $400. They want to send you a new one for £4,000. You know, it's always been the way where commerce dictates our consumer products. So yeah, so this Throw Me framework, a very interesting company. I think my path is ever leading away from Mac laptops and PC, and you know, sort of like PC parts of my life. I think you're going to push it all back together. It's not like a framework laptop, a powerful framework laptop, and possibly the framework desktop may be the future replacements for all my stuff, because I don't see any point OS Tahoe 26 has come out. I don't know. I mean, it killed my machine when I first installed it. All the things that I wanted to use didn't work properly. It looks really weird. It reminds me of there was an OS years ago they did with a glassy look to it, and it was on the iMacs or something. It was that version back. And it's like they're recycling. Anyway, here we go. Look, I mean, brilliant. ASCII artwork. And now we just reboot, and this should come back and bring me straight into Omachy. I think when I was filming this, when I was recording it, I was off making some tea or something, so bear with me. Oh no, we're back. So you come in. I love the minimalism of all this. And it'll come back. It reboots. I know it does. So it will reboot, he says. Black screen. There we go. So we're rebooting back in. Come up with the menu, and obviously Linux. We're going to go in with that. And up it comes, he says, pointing at the screen. Will it do it? There we are. And then you put your password in. I think this is at 1920 by 1080 because I did it through a Blackmagic recorder box. And it's letting you in. Now, when this comes up, the first thing it replies nothing apart from this backdrop. There's nothing there. And I've got some updates to do, so we're probably going to go through those. And I'll talk about there's no icons. There's do the updates and reboot. There's no icons. Your mouse really doesn't do as much stuff. I mean, I found this hilarious, this whole thing, because it was such a jar compared to what I've been used to for years, that it was like, but then when you start to do this, because it's all done with the keys and the super keys, it's so intuitive, and it's, you wonder why. The mouse then becomes, I've been using it for about a couple of days now. When I made this video, it was quite fresh, but the more you use it, the more you realize how the mouse is limiting. I think we all got lazy because we can move the thing around on the desktop and drag and drop stuff, that we think it's the only way to work. But no, I mean, if you're working on a laptop and you're working on a desktop, obviously trackpads have always been a big deal, and moving around, they've always been the limiting factor with laptops, aren't they? You know, the trackpad's not good. It's really, you don't feel natural when you're trying to click around. But if you do it with the keys, you can get rid of a huge chunk of that sort of movement that you don't really need. So here we go. And this is you can see this is an art stuff. The Pac-Man type thing, eating the thing. There's quite a big update on there, so bear with me. But I'll do this in real time, so you can sort of see how quickly it installs. I've got a 300 meg internet connection, so this is coming down the line. It's got 118 packages to update. Let it do its thing. I think there was a point in this where I thought it crashed. Yeah, it's here. It freezes. It doesn't freeze. It's just doing something. No, it might be further on down the line. There's a bit where it stops on one of the packages, and I thought, you know. But the way that it works, Arch is a weird one. There's all these different strands of Linux, as you've seen from my videos. All this Fedora, there's Ubuntu, you've got Red Hat, you've got, Debian, you've got Arch, you've got Slackware and Gentoo, which is just alien technology. But Arch is basically designed to be super quick. They have a thing called the AUR, where they keep all the packages, and Arch is like, hardcore Linux for people to use. But it's just very efficient, and it's not that user friendly. What he and his team have done with this, they've made it incredibly user friendly, which is great. I mean, I've seen some other installations of Arch, Manjaro's sort of Arch, and there's another one, Gawara and Catchy. But again, I mean, they're all built on the same visual paradigm of point and click, Windows and stuff like that. This isn't. Anyway, so this is going to reboot now. This is just a whole new thing. You can tell I'm quite excited talking about it, because it's really a very unique thing to work with. Okay, so now we're booting up. Now we can finally have a play. And they got snapshots, so it's recorded. It's obviously snapshot back the previous version. So if this install doesn't work, this update doesn't work, I could go back to my snapshot and go back to the previous version. So here we go. That's that password. No one ever thinks, what my password? Don't believe what I just said there. Okay, so here we are. Okay, beautiful. Now, here's where it all goes wrong. You've got no icons. What's going on? So let me just wonder how I did this. Okay, at the top left, you can click on this, and this gives you the Omachy menu, and this gives you all your key menu things. So if you go to But now, there we go. Yeah, if you go to the super keys, is basically super shift space, it brings it up, and then you can go into your apps. There's a lot of pre-installed apps. Let's just have a look through what we've got. I mean, you've seen a few there probably. Hey, Caden Live, you've got LibreOffice already built in. Let's do that. So open that up and it pops up. Now, I'm not really showing you what this can do yet, but we'll see in a second what happens with the windows. Finally, a real, see, I'm trying to type and watch the screen here. Complete mess. Well done, Nugent. Try again. Cool. Here we go. Linux distribution. Distro. If I could only spell. There you go. Let's get rid of that. Now, I know I'm looking for the click, but closing windows is super key W. It just shuts the window. So let's have a look what else is in there. See how easy that went in? And as you looked at my other Linux videos, it's like, it's got the word processor built in. Caden Live, off the bat, it's not got Resolve, but they've thought about this and they've given you a video editor. So there it is, all ready to go. You can use a video editor straight off the bat. That's pre-installed for you. So I know he keeps going, it's for developers, but I don't know, they've built this for a lot of people. Let's go to apps again. What else we got? What else would you do? NeoVim, OBS, built in. Not built in, it's downloaded and pre-installed. So up it comes. And then I've got recording. Let's just do that. And I've got the NVIDIA 5060 Ti in here. So behind the picture of me in the corner there, I'm fiddling around, but we've got advanced recording. Let's make sure we've got all the codecs. There we are, AV1, that's what we want. That's it. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm good to go. This is the bit I mean, I've only just cracked it, but not in this video, is how you move everything to workspaces. So what else have we got? Now, I was looking for Steam here, and it's not in this section. They've got their own, I'll watch this, I'll fiddle through this, I mean, I get that. They've got their own section for games, which is great. So I'm trying to think about it here, trying to work out where it is. Set up, apps. Can't figure it out. I'd already got there. First time I installed this, I went through it. Games, I'm now typing, which was wrong because it's in the install section, which I'll work out in a second on the video. No, you can't find it. I was thinking, where is that? Where is that? I've seen it because I'd already been through it. And I think that when I watched David's video on this, he goes straight to it and I completely forgot. But they've got web apps built in and we'll talk about those in a second. So literally, if you click on, here we go. So YouTube, give it a sec. And I'm into YouTube. So it's basically the app. It's like a website as an application. So you can go straight into it and it's there built in. Now you can do all your key bindings. I'm going to get to that bit in a minute. Trapped in an elevator of strangers. Okay, that's not great. So I'll try again now. He's going to go down. I'll work it out in a second. Apps. Still not there. Still having a think here. I'm not going to speed this up. I'm going to let you watch my struggle. But yeah, so let's go down to where I'm trying to just bit by bit by bit. Can't find it. Zoom's built in as a web app. So you've got all your comms tools, which is just really well thought through. So I'm going to have another think. Install, and I've cracked it. Right down the bottom there is games. And there's AI as well. So what's in there? Core code. And this is another part of the videos that I always do. Is like, we're in an AI world. There should be pre-installed stuff for AI, and they've done it in this. So Steam. So you can literally install Steam. And we'll run a game at the end for this as well. There we go. In comes Steam. All the bits. And I'm going to probably launch Steam and it'll do the same thing, where it sort of does this weird installation and it sits in the background. Yeah, so apps, Steam, there it is. So I'll click on it and if I'm pressing return, you're not seeing you see the mouse is just like sat still, isn't it? You get to a point where you just move the mouse off to the side of the screen, just leave it there. And you start, because you're doing everything with the keyboard. So let's have a look. What else did we do? So I'm waiting now. I've launched it, but it does that weird background loading thing, as you see with other, a lot of Linux things to do in Linux versions. It does this background thing. So I've not played with this yet. You've got LM Studio, Olama, and I'm sure you could just install an overlay for it. Here we go. It's just fired up in the background. Let's get rid of that. There's Steam. So we'll do my Steam login. Now I'm in 1080, 1920 by 1080. So obviously this is gigantic. So I haven't worked out how to control the window sizes. There's so much to learn here, but in a good way, because obviously I can control. I'm looking for my phone now to get the remote thing, the QR code, because I can't find my phone. Here we are, I'm in. So as with the other Linux videos, I will install, give it a sec, I'll install Dredge. And then with Dredge, we can just see it run. If you looked at all the other installation videos, some of them don't even get this far. Some of them, like, I can't remember the Ubuntu. It's done my drivers. I've got a 5080 driver in here. That's all done. It's all set up. I've not tried it. I will switch this over to an NVIDIA, an AMD card, a 9060 XT, give it a go. But this is the bit I couldn't figure out. So I haven't done the keys. If you press Super F, it loads files, because a lot of the actions are bound to the keys. But this is great. I think once you learn this, like they've done it again, Super F, once you learn this and you learn your key bindings, I have to type in this tiny window. Sorry, David and team, I'm not giving a great demonstration here. This is me learning after 30 years of using locked-in operating system. So let's install that. Let that go. Now, the bit I haven't sussed out with this yet, but I'm going to get really soon, is you can move between, you don't minimize, you just move between workspaces. So you keep your apps sort of like sized up, but you see, I'm trying to resize it. I think you can. I think you can do super shift, drag. I can't do it in this. But I literally, if you wanted to leave that there, you move to a new workspace and do something else and launch in that, then jump between the workspaces. So I've got a lot of learning to do in this, but I'll tell you what, it's worth it. It's just worth it. So here we go, key binding. So you go into that, you can have a look. So Alt F11 full width, okay? And it's really intuitive search. So I'm going to try it now, Alt F. I'll get there, there you go. So now I've managed to work out Alt F. But again, I'm sorry about the size of everything, because I'm doing 1920 through the Blackmagic box. It looks gigantic. But you can move, there you go. You can move between your workspaces. Just leave that there, start something else. That replaces minimize, so don't look for it. It doesn't work. You just move things between screens, which is actually a pretty good way to do it. You just jump between them because you can just do a keyboard. So yeah, so this is the learning area. Omachy, Hyperland. And Hyperland's the Windows management system that's controlling all the boxes. Let's see what else I can do in here. Learn. Let's try another. Basecamp, Bluetooth, Chromium. Now, yeah, I think because I forced this full screen, it won't let another window come in and open up. So I'm learning so much of this. Let's try again in this one, in a different workspace. So let's try and launch actually, sort of see how the Windows management system works. So key binding. Okay, there's me, I'm fiddling. There's so much to learn with this. Great fun though. It's a great OS. So, right, so, okay, so you're watching me struggle here. You're so used to doing stuff with the mouse. It's going to take me a while to de-educate myself. And actually, there we go. So I've made it smaller, and you can see in the background how it tiles. So what I think I'll do is, how do I get out of that? Let's go to another screen. And that's Super W shuts them. So what I need to do is jump to another workspace and then do the same thing. So super shift space into here, Omachy, that loads up there. And now I want to load something else. That's, by the way, that's brilliant. There's a brilliant documentation that's gone along with this. I mean, so I've not read all of this yet. I'm going to work out how to do the configurations and stuff like that. But it's fantastic. There's a great deal of knowledge here that someone has carefully put together. So hang on, I'm going to show you how the Piper window thing works in a sec. Bear with me. Right, so apps. Let's find one. Calculator. That's the GNOME calculator, I think. And now I want to go back in, and then you'll start to see how this works. There you go. So it starts popping up. Now, if I open another one, it should come in on the bottom underneath it. Is he going to try that? And let's do another app. Let's do ChatGPT. There we go, pops in there. And they all start, now you can manage how this works. I haven't got to that yet. It's my learning for Sunday. And then Super W closes everything. So, and you just jump between these workspaces. And it's just a different way of working, but I tell you what, it's really smart. Okay, so I've finally got Dredge installed. There it is, so let's fire that up. I need to work out how to do this with Steam. It is gigantic. But that's because I've got the 1080p recording on here. Let's go down and play. And give it a minute. And we're off. And we're into Dredge. That's really snappy, actually. So gaming as well. Probably not what the guys, David and the Omachy guys were thinking of, but I'm sure I'm going to go through and install a lot of games on here. It's Proton based, so you should have, I mean, I haven't even got to the bit where you start to install all the other Proton tweaks and things like that, but I'm sure you can because it's Arch. So anything you do on Catchy in many ways, you can potentially do on this. So where am I? I'm by the gigantic Kraken. It's much more interesting save. See if we can get across the big pond thing. Dredge, it's in every one of my videos. I think one I did Call of Duty, but it's a brilliant, I think it's a team of 5 or 4. There's loads of add-ons for it now. It's just a great game. It's got a story, it's beautiful graphics, and it's got a Kraken sea monster. And I mean, what's not to love? What's not to love about that? So here we go. And I'm going to get, there's no way that I'm going to get across the, get that, there he goes. And next one, let's try some evasion, doesn't work. Boom, I'm out of here. Okay, so yeah, so games, not a problem. So I'm going to be doing a lot of testing with the games on this. And then just come out of it. It does work on that one. Anyway, so what else did we do on this? Yeah, so it's really worthwhile just having a look. Style, the themes are brilliant. So Tokyo Night's your default one, which has got this. Then you can switch them and it's instantaneously switching between them. And as I learn my keys quicker, there is a key thing to jump straight into this. I haven't learned it yet. So in the learning part, key bindings, I'll find it. So if you type in, what am I going to type? Themes. There's a theme switcher. Pick new theme. So that's Super Shift Control Space. Super Shift Control Space. So if I do that, I should I'm like looking at the keyboard trying to figure out. There we go. And that's jumped straight in. So it's great because you can bind your keys and just go through some of these themes. Some of these themes are beautiful. They're just fantastic. That one's great. That's great. I love that picture. So, I mean, yeah. So whoever's thought out the aesthetics, the look of this really has done a great job. And oh, there's BTR tops. It's brilliant. If you, as I think he says it in the video, but if you ever BTR tops, if you ever need to have a cool backdrop, just fire that up. Because it makes it look like you're like the CIA or something, or like something from Bourne Ultimatum with your computers. But literally, it's just like showing you the stats on the computer. So yeah, so it's a really cool. It's a really, really cool OS. What else am I going to do here? Because I got lost in this. I spent way too much time fiddling with this the other night. There's one thing, yeah, that doesn't work. The disk manager thing doesn't work. There are a few gaps. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know how many people are behind this. But compared to some of the massive installations, some of the proper OSs I've tried to put on here, this works incredibly well. So there we go, pop another window, get rid of that. That's the image viewer. There we go. There we go. System. About. Yeah, now you can apparently fiddle with all this. You can actually change that ASCII artwork. If you go into the config file, you can do what you want. There's some beauty to this. It is customizable, totally. It's a different way to work. You can see all my stuff there. I've got Linux kernel 16.16, Ryzen 9. Yeah. System, shutdown. And we're done. So there you go, just for summary there, you can sort of see that that's quite a thing. It's it's a whole new way of working. It's a whole new way of thinking about an operating system. The guys, hats off to the Omachy team and David and the guys. I'd never heard of you before. I know you did Ruby on Rails, amazing. But it's not part of my world though. I do video and filming, so it's not really my world. But I mean, that is just great. I've really taken to it. I think if you want to try Linux, it's a bit of a leap, but there's a lot of documentation to support this. I think you should give that a go. Of all the ones I've tested so far, I mean, Bazite, okay, if you want to play games, go on to Bazite. If you want to do a bit, you can do games on this. You want to do, I mean, the next video I'm doing, I've written a full installation script of how to very easily put DaVinci Resolve on here. So you've got that as well. And hopefully, I use the AUR script as well. I've used all that. If anybody wants to take it, mod it, and put it in the proper, installation part of this and make it part of the package, you need to download the DaVinci Resolve installer so you can have that as well. Feel free to do your thing. But it's the beauty of this, it's open source. You can play with this to your heart's content. But I mean, yeah, there's been a fair bit of excitement about this, and rightly so. It's brilliant. It's a really, really good Linux distro, and it's a shift away from all the paradigms that we've completely had blown into our heads, whether right or wrong, about how we use a computer. So on that note, thanks for watching.